Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by SeoSamba. Comprehensive high-performing marketing solutions for mature and emerging franchise brands. To supercharge your franchise marketing, go to SeoSamba.com. That's SeoSamba.com.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Franchise Marketing Radio, and this is going to be a fun one. I got with me today Bob McQuillan, and he is with Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it. Great to be here.
Before we get too far into things, tell us about Hand and Stone. How are you serving folks?
Well, how are we serving folks?
Yeah, like what's the kind of the franchise about?
So, Hand and Stone is a massage and facial spa concept developed in the state of New Jersey in the United States back in 2004. Today, we have over 460 locations throughout the United States and Canada. We've got 31 in Canada, mostly in the eastern portion of the country, and have never closed a spa in Canada and have not closed a spa in, this is now going to be the fourth year, which is unprecedented and basically unheard of in franchising for a spa concept or a franchise for that matter of our size. But we are a completely service oriented business as far as massage, facials, and hair removal. And then we also carry two full comprehensive skincare lines, which seems to be a very big focus of what we're doing here today and in the future.
So why do you think that Hand and Stone don't close stores? Like, what makes you different than all the other people in this space?
Yeah, it's a unique situation, and I've had the ability. I come at this kind of a little bit different. My title is a Vice President of Franchise Development, which is really franchise sales, and my focus is primarily in North America. Which is the only two countries we're located in, is the United States and Canada. So what makes us different is early on, we started focusing a lot on the skincare end of the business and promoting gift cards. Massage, I think, will always be the driver in what we do, but whereas our competition really focused on massage, we started to pivot a little bit. And as the great Wayne Gretzky says, when other people go left, you go right, or you pivot. And 100% of the shots you don't take are never made. So that's kind of our mantra as well. We look at this business as a complete opportunity from all aspects, but we wanted to be the one business that offered more products, more services, and completely focused and really had a determination to grow the skincare side of the business because no other competitor was doing that. So when they went left, we went right, and it's paid off for us.
Now, what is the profile of a franchisee?
Most of our franchisees, and they come from many ranks. We have a very sophisticated group of franchisees. I would tell you that predominantly we're made up of a lot of husband-wife teams who, one of the spouses has continued on a corporate career. The other maybe had stayed home to raise children and just wanted a new opportunity when the children were kind of more independent and going to school and self-sufficient. So that's a big part of our group. We get a lot of partnerships as well, where they basically have developed these great skill sets over a period of 10 to 25 years in the corporate world, and then either want a new challenge or opportunity, or maybe have transitioned and or just kind of need a change of pace. They want to do something on their own, create their own destiny rather than work for an employer. And this has been kind of customary for us over the last 11 years now that I've been there. I've seen the same pattern again and again, and it's people that have worked with corporations for a long period of time that have developed great skill sets, and they want to change a pace, or they want a new opportunity, or they just want to do something on their own and use the skill sets they developed.
Now, when they come into the system, are they primarily opening one shop, or are they looking to kind of be empire builders and saying, okay, this is going to be just step one in this?
Yeah, good question, Leah. And we get all kinds. I can tell you the predominant number is multi-unit operators, but a lot of them come in as owning one. We do have a number of people that come in and buy, 2 or 3. We'll sell up to 3 different markets to one person as long as they qualify financially. It's about a $600,000 investment to set up a Hand and Stone, and that's everything. That's your working capital, which is the cash in your bank to operate the business. That's all construction costs, franchise fees, legal fees, equipment, everything. Soup to nuts. It's about $600,000 on average to open up a Hand and Stone, and as long as they qualify financially, they could open up more than one. But typically, we see 1 to 2 openings is the largest percentage of the people that come into the business.
Now, are you finding that maybe more established franchisees that are part of other systems are kind of making this part of a suite of maybe complementary services? Maybe they're in the hair, or maybe they're in the fitness, wellness.
We have seen that. As a matter of fact, we have it's a small number, Lee, but we do have a handful of people that have. And I'll give you an example. They might own a fitness concept or a bakery in a shopping center. We're part of a private equity group, and that private equity group they've got about anywhere from usually 9 to 12, 13 different franchises under their umbrella. One of them is Nothing Bundt Cakes. And we have a couple different owners that own a Nothing Bundt Cakes and a Hand and Stone. One actually in the state of Alabama has a Nothing Bundt Cakes and a Hand and Stone in the same shopping center. All in all, there's less than 3 or 4% of our entire franchise base owns multiple franchise concepts, but I've seen kind of a trend in the people that I'm talking with where that's happening more and more now. So that's a great question.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In doing this show, we get to meet a lot of people doing a lot of interesting things, and that's something I'm starting to see, this kind of a suite of complementary franchises under one roof, so that it gives some kind of maybe economies of scale, and maybe in the marketing or sharing of customers within the marketing in a given market. So I just wondered if you guys were pursuing that strategy.
Yeah, it's a great point, and it allows them to diversify a little bit so all their eggs aren't in one basket.
Now, talk about this Canadian expansion. How did that come about?
Sure. Well, we have the group that has what was our master franchisee, Gigi Harding and her brother Brett. They had owned the concept of quick copy in Canada in franchising. And Gigi she's the president of the Canadian operation, and now we've partnered with the United States, or Canada has. And she grew the business to where it is today, 31 locations, zero businesses closed in that time frame, over 10 years now. And the way it came about was, our focus is to as an organization, our focus is to have the same operation, spa in, spa out, in every spa. Canada was operating a little bit differently in the fact that they only carried one product line on the facial side, not 2. So they weren't enjoying the discounts that we had. The private equity firm that owned us saw an opportunity to purchase this operation, whereas Gigi has been in franchising for a number of years now. I think it was good from a timing perspective. It made sense for us to come together. So now we are leveraging our size with the organizations that they purchased equipment from, products from, to gain bigger discounts, and it gives us the ability now to create a budget, whereas we can not only affect the United States, but we can affect Canada as well. A lot of our growth and opportunities are in the western portion of the country because as far as 98% of our activity is all in the GTA. So that's pretty much a lot of that's spoken for, and so our concentration now will be out west. And it made sense for us if we're going to go into different parts of the country. maybe now is the time for us to do that and leverage our in-house advertising agency, leverage our relationships with other vendors and broker networks and ways to grow the business at this point moving forward.
Now, here in America, we're going through this coronavirus, the COVID-19 crisis, and all over the world, obviously. But how is this impacting your business where so much of it is kind of in person, face to face? What kind of resources were you trying to provide for your franchisees and support them during this kind of difficult time?
Sure. Well, we've basically stopped any fees from an advertising perspective and an IT perspective. We've stopped all those costs for the franchise base. What we're doing now is preparation for reopening, and we've provided assistance in a number of different ways. And really two of the most prominent are one, real estate, and two, banking. Not necessarily that they would be ranked in that order, but anybody that's in a lease right now, our real estate department has been working with each of our franchisees, whether they be existing franchisees that own a single unit or multi-franchise unit owners, or even people that are in the process of being in construction or getting ready to open. We're going back to the landlords, back to our commercial real estate brokers that represent us in the market to leverage those relationships to say, hey, we've been a great tenant. We're an organization that has not closed their location, and this is now going on our fourth year. So we're the type of business landlords love, right? They don't want to lose a tenant like Hand & Stone. So on behalf of our franchisees, we've been proactive in reaching out to all the landlords, developing the communication for our franchisees to send out on their behalf, for us to send out on their behalf. So we've done that. From a banking perspective, we've leveraged the relationships that we've had, and I've been in the industry for over 20 years. Our CEO has been in the industry for over 30 years. Collectively, amongst our management group, we have over 200 years of franchising experience. So you can imagine the relationships we've built over that time. And we've gone back to those folks, whether it be in finance and banking, some of the great folks like Bennett Trends and Fran Fund, the organizations that we've been doing business with for 20, 30 years. We've relied on them heavily to kind of guide us in the right direction, and where it makes sense to get money where money is needed most, and that's in the hands of franchisees.
Now, when you're going through a crisis like this, it's always good to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Is there things that you're doing now, maybe reallocating funds that you were, like you mentioned, for advertising, but are you reallocating them to maybe give some tools to your franchisees when it is time to reopen so they can reopen safely and confidently?
We are. And, one of the biggest things for us is, when you look at business, how it was done before the pandemic and how it's going to be done after the pandemic, it's going to be very, very different. And what's completely different is the mindset of the consumer. And as you know, in our business, we deal with people. We are helping people relax. And by doing that, it's the touch of the massage hands. It's the touch of the esthetician hands to cleanse and moisturize and take care of the skin. So what we're doing is we have a completely new revamped protocol. And it doesn't end with our protocol, but our protocol is going to consist of less contact, obviously contact less type of activity through texting, through phone, through email, anything digital through our app is going to take place, and we're going to obviously influence that. We will be taking the temperature of all of our employees that are service providers on a daily basis. So we'll have medical grade type of equipment in-house, as you would find in a hospital, to take the temperature of the folks to make sure that they're healthy. We are going to enforce our employees to wear masks. So our massage therapist, our esthetician will be wearing masks during the treatment. And then our estheticians will be wearing gloves. I mean, the massage therapists won't wear gloves, but the estheticians will, but they're dealing with product and obviously touching the face. So and it doesn't stop there. That's the protocol when it comes to the customer and our interaction. When it comes to the cleanliness of our businesses, I mean, I've used the term, it sounds kind of silly, but I have daughters. Right? I have 2 daughters. I want to feel comfortable that my daughter could go into a Hand and Stone and give birth to a child, right? So what we're doing now is we've worked with 4 different companies to understand the different ways we can clean our establishments, so the different ways we can clean our spas and each individual treatment room, so as a customer will feel comfortable coming into our spa after the pandemic or after these the shutdowns have been lifted. So we are dealing with ionization, oxidation, microbial type cleaning, the type of cleaning that you would find in a hospital room and that you would find in a surgical room prior to surgery. It's going to be that clean. So these are just some of the things and the tools of the trade that we're helping prepare and setting in new protocols, Lee, for our franchisees to get reopened, our new franchisees to open, and then certainly our existing pipeline or interested franchisees to become confident that we're doing the right things in the market.
And when you look at this kind of crisis and you're seeing the way that a firm like Hand and Stone is dealing with it and supporting their franchisees, some of these unintended consequences might be that when this thing's over, you're going to have a good story to tell new franchisees going forward about this is how we handled, the first pandemic in our lifetime. And so when it comes time to buy for a buying decision for a franchisee, you're giving them a lot of confidence that, hey, if they can weather that storm, I'll know they have my back.
Yeah, it's a good point. And I look back to, and my wife and I, my wife was a franchisee at Hand and Stone for 10 years. And we just recently, a few months ago, sold it. She's retired now, but we sold our businesses. We had 3 spas. But when we were going into this as investors, it was 2009. So it was on the heels of one of the worst recessions we've had in this country in 50 years. Now, this is a completely different animal, but in some ways, it's a lot of it's the same. So the way we reacted then was a very proactive approach. We did things to cut costs for the franchisees and the new franchisees in building out their locations. We revamped our model to make it such. We're doing the same thing today. And like you said, we're going to have a story to tell after this is all over. And I would bet, being the number 1 brand going into this pandemic, I would venture to say that we're going to come out of this a much stronger brand, still number 1, and having the benefit of having a larger labor pool and the ability to capture a lot more customers from some of the smaller competitors that aren't going to be able to make it. So you make a good point.
Yeah, they say history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. So it sounds like...
That's a good point, right? Correct.
It sounds like having gone through that has really made you better positioned to deal with this.
Right.
So now, if somebody wanted to learn more about a Hand and Stone, what's the best way to get more information and maybe connect with you?
Sure. Well, I always say, I'm a 24/7 guy, although if you call me at 3 a.m, the odds are I'm going to return your call probably around 8 or 9 o'clock that morning. But you can always call me directly, and I always give my cell phone out for the people that need it, and that's area code 856-296-4800, or simply go to handandstone.ca, which is our Canadian website, or handandstone.com. And you can look under click under Own a Franchise, and you'll be directed to our franchise development site, which will give you contact information and more information about the brand.
Well, Bob, congratulations on all the success, and thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate you having us on. Take care. God bless, and be safe.
All right. This is Lee Cantor. We will see you all next time on Franchise Marketing Radio.